averaging 45 miles an hour. And there still is the possibility there could be some strengthening in the Friday forecast. If you're plotting this system, it's at 12.5 degrees north, 71.2 degrees west. There are some tropical storm warnings across coastal sections of Venezuela, also into Colombia. And for Curacao and Aruba, some strong gusty winds and some heavy rainfall. Stay tuned. CNN's Larry King Live is next.
The government has the black boxes, but still no answers about what caused TWA Flight 800 to explode. What's the holdup? Tonight, we're joined by TWA's president, plus victims' family members. We'll tell what President Clinton shared with them. It's all next on Larry King Live.
Now, live from Washington, here's Larry King.
Good evening. Lots of guests tonight, all dealing with the same topic, the downing of TWA Flight 800, a still unsolved mystery. With us in New York are Richard and Jackie Penzer. Richard's sister, Judy, was traveling to Paris on vacation and was killed on that flight. And here in Washington is the French ambassador to the United States, the Honorable Francois Boujon. And the French had, 48 on the plane, right?
48 victims.
And you travel with the president today.
Yes, I did travel with the president, who was kind enough to take me with him on Air Force One. And I paid a visit, which was not the first visit for me. I already paid them a visit 2 days ago.
How did the president do today?
Oh, I think the president was very kind and very attentionate. These families are in great pain, of course, and the foreign families have not only their grief, but also the fact that they are in an alien land and having to deal with alien customs or alien institutions. I found, for instance, among the French families when I visited with them 2 days ago, that they had difficulties understanding the way the administration works in this country, what administration or what agency does what exactly.
Did you brief the president on all that?
Yes, I had a chance to explain to the president aboard Air Force One this morning what were the main problems or the main frustrations of some French families. He listened very carefully, and I could tell when he addressed them later on that he had well understood. He had a word for everybody.
And Richard, from your perspective, how did President Clinton do today?
Oh, he was superb. He was very kind to us, all the families of the victims. He couldn't have been nicer. It was translated immediately afterwards into French and then Italian. You could see his concern for the French and the Italians, and it was true concern for all of us. He was very nice. He wanted to hear anything we wanted to talk to him about.
Jackie, a rabbi on the scene said that the president today was rabbi, priest, minister, everything.
He was your best friend. He was your neighbor. He really reached out to the victims' families.
Were you concerned about his delay in coming? Some said he should have come sooner.
I thought it was the most opportune time. The first few days were so difficult. There were forms to be filled out for identification, arrangements to be made. There was a lull now, a real lull. No more bodies, no more forms. And it was the perfect time because the frustration was really calmed by his visit.
We had a lot of anger initially at the airline, at the government. Was that true among the French, too?
Well, the French, like everybody else, I believe, with the added difficulties that I mentioned earlier. Yes, some of them voiced frustration, but I fully agree with what has just been said. The visit of the president today was very soothing to the families, and you could tell afterwards by speaking to them that...
Have many French bodies been recovered?
Well, not enough, of course, just slightly around 10. I don't know what is the latest figure. It's about 10.
Tell me about Judy, Richard.
Well, she was a famous muralist. She liked to work with inner city youth, and she put up oversized murals around the country, especially in my buildings in different cities. And she loved life, and she was a woman of integrity. And I try to pick up the phone now to even, sometimes I reach for the phone to talk to her, and she's just not there. So,
this was a pleasure trip?
It was just a pleasure trip with an architect friend of hers, a woman architect, and they were going to look at castles in France. A spur-of-the-moment thing.
Has her body been found?
Yes, we buried her yesterday.
The funeral, where's home, Richard?
I live in Lawrence, Long Island, and she had just moved to Pittsburgh about a year and a half ago. She just finished a house in Pittsburgh, as a matter of fact, her perfect house. She was traveling with the architect who designed it also.
Mr. Ambassador, do you expect that we'll find the answers? That this won't be another Air India, where we've never found the answers?
Well, I hope we will find the answers. I know that the probe is difficult and it is slow in many ways, but it is also an unexplained phenomenon. We really don't know what caused that crash.
What did you make of the security beef-ups today?
I think they're very useful. And
They're common in France, aren't they?
They should be well received. They usually, yes, they are common in France, and they are common in Europe mostly. A number of European airports have tighter security than American airports.
Jackie, what did you make of that, the president's statement today concerning increased security?
I feel that terrorists are like snakes, and you can beef up security, and these cowards are going to find a way to be horrible. We have to deal with recognizing that humans have lives, that people are living human beings. And until the world gets a little bit more real about that, I don't know.
France has had its share of terrorism,
Unfortunately,
on
yes.
its turf. It's the most difficult thing to deal with, isn't it?
Very difficult to deal with, and I'm glad to say that when we suffered this last terrorist attack last summer, about a year ago, the French population reacted with great determination, and they were very impressive in their calm and in the way they reacted to the crisis.
Is it important to you, Richard, to get a resolution of this?
Well, what was important to me, actually, was seeing that the president came down and was so concerned, and he was a real decent human being about it. And until it's found out what actually happened, I wouldn't go around speculating or hoping for vengeance. I just hope the president takes the right action if it is found to be this. He goes out and does what the right thing is.
Are you basically optimistic that we will find out the answers?
I would imagine. I see that the full force of the United States is being put on this, from the Navy to every other agency. They're not being limited. They're doing what they have to do. I would imagine the United States is going to find out what happened here.
What's been the mood back in France?
About this accident, I think they've been following the probe very, very carefully, and they are very confident that we will find the answer. But again, it's still a big mystery at this date. We don't know whether this is a terrorist attack or whether this is just a kind of freak accident. So there is great anxiety and great
seems
perplexity.
like if it's freak, it's awfully freak, right? Based on we don't have a voice in the black box, we don't have anything relayed from cockpit to control tower.
Yes. We'll have to wait before we draw our conclusions.
Richard and Jackie, you have all of our sympathy, and I thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, and Mr. Ambassador.
Let me just say one last thing, Larry,
Sure.
that there were, of course, 48 French people on board, but there were also so many Francophiles among the Americans. I find this very touching. This whole French class from Montoursville in Pennsylvania, for instance, this is something heartbreaking. And we feel enormous sympathy for all the families of the victims,
People
whatever
who
their nationalities
love the
are.
language and the people, and
Yes.
I'm so looking forward to go there.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. When we come back, the president and CEO of TWA, Jeffrey Erickson, will join us. Don't go away.
From now on, we will hand search more luggage and screen more bags. And we will require pre-flight inspections for any plane flying to or from the United States. Every plane, every cabin, every cargo hold, every time.
Larry King Live is brought to you by New Alpine Lace Fat-Free Turkey. No fat, no fat, no fat.
New Alpine Lace Fat-Free Turkey. No fat, no fat, no fat, no fat. No fat, no fat. Ask for new Alpine Lace Fat-Free Turkey at your deli. No fat.
I believe he purchased it on an official Olympic website. Why can't you say not?
limits, where anything is possible. That's the world of the AT&T Global Olympic Village, where people can share a whole new world of information. Because when people communicate, there's no limit to what they can do.
Simmons is dropping the ball. On the competition, that is. Only Simmons has the Beauty Rest pocketed coil construction to help give you undisturbed sleep, no matter what's rolling around next to you. Beauty Rest by Simmons, the Do Not Disturb mattress.
Everywhere we look, we are inspired by what we see. These inspirations are the basis for the things we create. The ideas we return to the world. Samsung. The world inspires us.
Now back to Larry King.
We're back. Our entire subject tonight, the entire program devoted to the tragedy of TWA Flight 800. We now welcome to Larry King Live a return visit for Jeffrey Erickson, the CEO and president of TWA. He's at our studios in St. Louis. And here in Washington, Sherry Cooper, president, Independent Federation of Flight Attendants and president of the TWA Flight Attendants Union. The big news today, Jeffrey, of course, that the black boxes revealed a fraction of a sound that indicated anything to you?
Well, it sounds like, Larry, it was pretty routine up to that point in time, and then something catastrophic happened.
The president keeps saying not to speculate. From all indications seem to point that this wasn't engine failure, right?
Well, I think it's definitely correct not to speculate. I know there's a great tendency to do so. We all want to know the cause, and no one more than me. I think that what I've seen so far would probably tend to lower the probability of any maintenance malfunction.
Sherry, do you have friends on that plane?
Absolutely. 53 TWA employees, and we are a family, so we've all lost some very important people in our lives.
How did you react to the initial, and we'll be talking to Mayor Giuliani a little while, criticism of your airline?
When you criticize TWA, you're criticizing the employees, and we took it personally. We care about this company. What Mayor Giuliani may not have known is that we began immediately to start our trauma response. We began notification. We worked 40-hour shifts to get the job done.
Jeffrey, in retrospect, do you think you got a bum rap here?
Larry, we don't worry about that. We're trying to do the best job we can. Our main focus is on the families and helping them. I think our employees have done just a wonderful job of doing that, and that process will continue.
Yeah, but you had to feel a little beleaguered. I mean, you had this tragedy, and then people are criticizing you, and you're trying to straighten things out. It had to be somewhat upsetting.
Well, I think there's a general lack of understanding. I think the public tends to think that when the door of the aircraft closes that we have one set list that's perfect, and we don't. Most of the people are on the list. There were some inaccuracies. It took us a long time to work it out. Once we did, we started notification first thing in the morning. But through that entire night, we were with the families.
You made a lot of funeral arrangements, didn't you?
Yes, we have. They're starting now. We had one that was started yesterday morning, and it will continue until all the bodies are identified.
Do flight attendants think about this a lot?
Not
when they fly? No? Or it becomes commonplace?
We realize that the U.S. airline industry is the safest in the world. And we realize also that we're more likely to have something happen to us on the way to the airport. TWA has had an exemplary safety record. We're very proud of the work at TWA, and we don't have qualms about getting on an airplane.
What do you think of the president's beefed-up security and the Gore team and the like?
His measures are what we already have in place at TWA. We applaud his efforts. We sincerely appreciate him coming to see our families. I know it meant a great deal to them. But we are prepared to continue our security measures.
Do you look at every piece of baggage, Jeffrey? They're not filmed, are they?
I'm sorry, Larry, I didn't hear the question.
Every piece of baggage isn't inspected when it goes on a TWA plane or domestic carriers, are they?
Domestic is different. International, every piece of baggage is looked at, and of course I join with Sherry, and we welcome this increased focus.
What do you think of the idea of a federal office to deal with the families of tragedy?
Well, of course, we had the Red Cross involved. Any effort, I think, that obviously shortens the notification period. There's some bills pending up on the Hill. I support all of that. Any way that we can make it easier for people to go through the handling of terrible tragedies like this, we certainly support.
Do you think too much is placed on the airline, Sherry?
No, I think we certainly want to see the FAA have a stepped-up involvement, and we support anything that increases safety on airlines. We feel comfortable with what we're doing, and I would get on an airplane today and fly anywhere that TWA flies.
Jeffrey, do you think passengers will handle well, obviously, the longer time they're going to have to spend at airports now?
Yes, I absolutely think they will. Of course, all this is happening before we actually know the cause, but I expect the mood of the country will support this security effort.
You have enhanced security since this, haven't you?
Yes, we constantly review security, but most certainly we have reviewed and enhanced it since last week, and we support all of these measures that are proposed.
To all of your knowledge, maintenance records and the like, that plane was perfectly fit to fly.
That plane was airworthy until that point in time when something catastrophic happened instantaneously.
Have you been a flight attendant on a 747?
Yes, it's my favorite airplane.
It's most everybody's favorite airplane. It's safe, it's wonderful to fly, you feel like $1 million on it.
And we have the best pilots. We had Ralph Kevorkian, who was a close personal friend. Steve Snyder was a check captain. They had incredible experience. They were a great group of guys.
Are you angry, Sherry?
I think more is grief. We are truly a family at TWA, and it's difficult to deal. It's a roller coaster. You go through denial, shock, anger that you've lost friends. We had 571 years of friendship that we lost when that plane went down. And it's difficult.
Is there very good relations between yourself and Mr. Erickson?
Honestly, we've had our differences. In this situation, we are on the same team, and because we have done everything we can do to make it right for the families and to make it right for our family.
Jeffrey, you have thoughts about the flight attendants?
Well, I would say that our cooperation is wonderful. We do have differences, but the cooperation works it out. And I've seen an incredible coming together of all the employees to work on this tragedy.
The symbols you're wearing and you're wearing are for the...
It symbolizes hope and purity. It's the white ribbon that we wear, and all the employees are wearing them. Other airlines are starting to wear them, and our passengers are wearing them. When I attended a funeral yesterday, we saw members in the audience wearing them. It's a sign that we will continue, that our family will survive, and we will be stronger for this.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll go to your phone calls for Jeffrey Erickson, the CEO and president of TWA, who's been very upfront through all of this, and Sherry Cooper, president, Independent Federation of Flight Attendants. And then Mayor Giuliani will be with us, and later Ron Wilson of the San Francisco International Airport, and Senator William Cohen of Maine, a member of the Governmental Affairs and Intelligence Committees, who's very actively interested in airline security. We'll be right back.
I've worked with Jim for a while now. He knows exactly what he's going to do when he retires. He reads annual reports cover to cover. Believes the smartest thing he ever did was marry Claire. He worked hard for his money and thinks it's about time his money returned the favor. Because I know Jim, I know what investments he's comfortable with.
I'm Derek Thomas. I knock things down. Mostly, I knock down quarterbacks. I hold the record, 7 sacks in 1 game. These new Reebok Hostile Cross Trainers fit me so well. I get extra traction to hit harder. You want to perform better? Get the certified fit technicians at the Athlete's Foot to custom fit your Reebok Hostile Cross Trainers. Nobody knows the Athlete's Foot like the Athlete's Foot.
What you think?
Oh no, ice.
What the Bravada thinks.
Increase coefficient of friction, divert torque to adjust wheel velocities.
With its exclusive Smart Track system, the Bravada automatically reacts to changing road conditions. So with no buttons to push or levers to pull, you can let it do the thinking.
Oh no, marbles.
It's well known that Cellular One offers remarkably clear service from coast to coast.
Father couldn't be here, so he's listening over the phone.
Oh, she sounds great, honey.
In fact, clarity could be why more people choose Cellular One.
Let's pass the ball over to Tommy. He scored!
Cellular One, the nation's #1 cellular service, clear across America.
Jeffrey Erickson is in St. Louis. Sherry Cooper is here, and the caller is from Raleigh, North Carolina. Hello.
Hi. My question is on behalf of one of the families that lost their son on Flight 965 in Cali, Colombia, and they want to know is, what if the TWA crash had crashed in France? Would the president of TWA have handled this differently, or would he still treat the families the same? They feel that just because American Airlines is a powerful company and it crashed in a third world country does not mean that they should have been treated any differently, and they want to know why, what their rights were. I mean, they...
Are you saying you were treated poorly?
They were treated very poorly. When that flight crashed, the one American Airlines representative came out and said that Flight 965 has crashed somewhere between Cali and Triunfo, and turned around and walked back, closed the door, and left the family sitting on the floor of the terminal for 9 to 10 hours.
Oh, would TWA, Jeffrey, had acted differently if this crash occurred in landing?
The activities would have been the same. I actually would have been there faster because I, as you know, was in London, and then I would have had to go to Paris instead of to JFK. We rely heavily on the local support while we're assembling our team. We appreciate what New York City did, for instance, at the start of this. But our trauma response team, some 650 trained individuals, would have assembled
anywhere
in France and done the same thing.
You can say the same thing, Sherry.
Absolutely. We would have been on airplanes, the flight attendants, everyone who was involved in this operation would have been there.
San Antonio, hello.
Yes, good evening. A question for Mr. Erickson.
Sure.
There's been a lot of conversation about security and checking the baggage for passengers and so forth. What's been done about for a so-called inside job, checking the mechanics, the cleanup people, so forth?
About the danger of an employee infraction?
Well, let me just say that we have steps in place to deal with that, particularly employees that leave and with their employee badges and things like that. I don't want to get into details of how we handle security, obviously, but we believe that we adequately provide for that.
Sherry, would it be, frankly, easy for an employee to craze something to sabotage?
It would be almost impossible at various stages. We do watch the baggage. We have security out on the ramp. We, as flight attendants, watch people come on an airplane. If they don't have an ID, they don't get on my flight.
And do you go through security?
Absolutely.
Okay. Huntington Beach, California. Hello.
Hi, Larry.
Hi.
Question. From what I understand, there's only 2 airports in the whole United States that have detectors that can detect plastic explosives. And I wonder why they haven't been put in all the airports. And I know it's not because of the money, because we're taxed every time we buy an airline ticket.
Jeffrey?
Well, of course, that tax was held up. It may be reinstated by the end of the year. I think that There are some devices that can detect high-technology objects. It may indeed be the time to see that those things spread throughout the world.
Shouldn't all airports have the same security?
Absolutely.
In an ideal world, it should. We asked the others, how did the president acquit himself today, Jeffrey?
Well, first of all, I thought the timing was great. I was in Washington yesterday. I met with Leon Panetta. During that briefing, I was told that the president was coming up. I think his timing was great. I think that he was terrific with the crowd. He and Mrs. Clinton spent a lot of time with the families, and Mrs. Clinton spent a lot of time with our employee escorts.
Were you there, Sherry?
Yes, I was.
How did she do?
She's very soothing. She's very comforting. She had some very kind words for us. I talked to her briefly, and she understands the pain we're going through. Any person who's lost a family member would understand that.
To Green Bay, Wisconsin, hello.
Hi, Mr. Erickson. Has anyone from the NTSB or the FAA offered you an explanation as to why the pingers on the black boxes did not activate when the plane hit the water?
It's my understanding that the pingers actually broke off.
In the hitting of, in other words, as an accident.
Yeah, somewhere through the course of the accident, the pingers may indeed have been damaged. The black boxes, nevertheless, were found.
Jeffrey, we've had a few accidents, Air India, U.S. Air, that have never been explained. Will this one, do you think, bear fruition or not?
I expect this one to be fully explained, and I hope it's soon.
Even though you do have an ocean to deal with here, and you know you're never going to recover everything.
Well, and of course, that very statement explains the difficulty that the investigative teams have had, but they're only 10 miles offshore, and they have all the equipment there that they need. They've seen where the majority of the wreckage is. I expect to see many more victims recovered soon and identified and returned to their families, and I expect a lot more of the airplane to be recovered and to provide the clues we need.
Are you confident, Sherry?
I'm very confident. All the federal agencies are there. We have local enforcement agencies. Both ALPA and IFA have our own team there monitoring what's going on. We know that there should be a resolution to this.
Thank you both very much. Thanks, Jeffrey, and thanks, Sherry.
Thank you.
When we come back, Mayor Rudolph Giuliani of New York, much in the news over all of this. And then Ron Wilson of San Francisco International and Senator William Cohen. Tomorrow night, Tom Lang, LAPD detective. You should remember that name. We'll be right back.
Say, if you like cheese, but not the fat and cholesterol of cheese, please try my delicious Smart Beet fat-free slices. This is our brand new flavor seal. It's kind of fun to open. Smart Beet has the only slices with 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, and 0 lactose. Serve them cold or grill them. Either way, they have a great cheddar taste. Smart Beet, the only slices with 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, 0 lactose. You could say cheese, but go for Smart Beet.
Everywhere we look, we are inspired by what we see. These inspirations are the basis for the things we create. The ideas we return to the world. Samsung. The world inspires us.
Is a Best Western. Call 1-800-528-1234 or your travel agent.
Sunday, the tragic end of TWA Flight 800. Was it a horrible accident or a deadly act of terrorism? The difficult and frustrating search for answers. CNN Time presents Sunday, 9 Eastern.
This is the place for coverage of business and financial news from early morning till night. This is CNN.
Ordering pay-per-view? Mm-hmm. You can watch that movie anytime, all day.
No kidding. How?
With the all-day movie ticket.
Wow.
It's just the ticket to see the movie when you want. And for one low price, everyone can watch it.
Now playing on the all-day movie ticket, Father of the Bride Part 2.
See the movie again and again and amaze your friends with your psychic ability.
What's going to happen next, Casey? You're going to love this.
The pay-per-view all-day movie ticket. One movie, one price, all-day viewing.
She was the fairy tale princess who seemingly had it all. Then it all began to crumble. The extramarital affairs, the unflattering headlines, then the breakup. Don't miss Princess Diana, An Intimate Portrait, July 21st on Lifetime. Then it's the life and times of America's version of royalty. Jackie Onassis, An Intimate Portrait, July 28th on Lifetime and TCI.
Weeknights, Geraldine and Bob shake things up in Washington. Crossfire on CNN.
For a multimedia look at today's news, check out CNN Interactive on the World Wide Web at CNN.com. You can access our site through AT&T Business Network.
Now joining us, a man who's been on the scene from the get-go, Mayor Rudy Giuliani of New York, who has... How do you react to this criticism coming toward you from people like Mayor Koch and reporters in newspapers, Jimmy Breslin earlier on CNN, that you were looking for publicity, you were grabbing the spotlight, and were out of line?
Mayor Koch and Jimmy Breslin criticize me all the time.
Nothing new.
When I walk out of Gracie Mansion in the morning, they criticize me. The fact
How
is,
do you react to the criticism that you were jumping into a situation?
I'm the mayor of New York City. This is a crash that occurred from an airplane that took off right from New York City. And had I not been there that night with the police department, with the Mayor's Community Assistance Unit, there virtually would have been, I think, a lot worse situation. I stayed there all night. I spent time comforting 40, 50, actually at one point 60 different families during a situation that for about 12, 15 hours was pretty chaotic. So I also happened to have a friend who died on that airplane and two other people that worked on my campaign.
So what do you make of this?
What do I make of what part of it, Larry?
The attacks on you.
Oh, I don't know. When you're mayor of New York City, Larry, you get attacked for anything that you do. Most people have complimented me for the work, not only that I did, but the work that the police department has done, the fire department, the community assistance unit.
The governor.
We've had hundreds of people involved in this effort. Some of the divers that are going down into the water are New York City police officers and New York City firefighters. Before these trauma teams were there, which occurred 12, 15 hours later, the people who were comforting the people there, along with employees of TWA who came in and gave up their night off, were employees of New York City and who continue to be there. So we managed this effort for the first 12, 15, maybe as much as 18 hours, and really just out of humanitarian concern for the people that were there.
Well, and simply put, is there anything about what you said or did that you would not do or take back?
No, I do exactly the same thing again. I think, in fact, the pressure that I put on got this effort done, this effort of notification done faster than it's ever been done before, and the next time it should be done in a lot better than 18 hours.
So you were right to criticize TWA when you did?
I think if I hadn't, the thing would have gone on for another day of missing list, losing the list. I don't know why that happens. It should take a lot sooner than 18 hours to make notification. And the other problem that occurred here was it wasn't just notifying people at home. 50 to 60 families were begging for information about whether or not their son, their daughter, their friend, their mother, father was on that airplane, and there was, I guess the best way I could put it, disorganization in trying to put that list together,
So no regrets,
and it was a shame.
No regrets or apologies from Rudy Giuliani. How did the president acquit himself today?
The president did a very good job today. He spent a great deal of time with each one of the families, really waited until the families all got a chance to talk to him. I think that alone was enormously comforting, and particularly for the people there that aren't Americans, the people from France, the people from Italy, Israel, Colombia, Algeria, who are in a strange land, don't really understand as well when all of these different agencies are talking to them. The fact that they saw someone they knew, the President of the United States, and he spent 2.5, 3 hours with them, it'll go a long way to give some comfort in a situation in which you can only give some. You can't really deal with all the problems that unfortunately come out of this situation.
We know how hectic the New York airports are. How will New Yorkers cooperate, do you think, with these security measures?
They will cooperate. I mean, they'll, like everyone else, when new restrictions or new requirements are imposed, people will complain and they'll be upset about it. You know, you and I, I'm sure, remember when magnetometers were first introduced. Many people were many people were very opposed to it. They thought it wouldn't work. Some people thought it would cut air flying by 20%, 30%. And the fact is, people were annoyed at the beginning, but they got used to it. They understand that it's for a greater and more important good, which is safety. And I think what the President suggested today is absolutely correct. I think we should tighten up our safety procedures substantially for airplanes. And whether or not this attack, this situation turns out to be an attack, a bomb, or a mechanical failure, what the President suggested today is something that is really needed.
Let's get in a call from Mayor Giuliani. St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands. Hello.
Yes, I wanted to ask the mayor if he felt his harsh comments about TWA after the airline, if he had any second thoughts considering how many TWA employees were killed, and also were his comments constructive?
Well, first of all, the comments were not about TWA employees. What I said then, what I say now, is that the TWA employees acquitted themselves really as well as they possibly could in trying to help people, care for people. Overwhelming numbers of them did that. The problem here was at the very, very top, and a lack of coordination in getting that list out. And I think my comments were constructive because I don't believe that list would have gotten out in the period of time that it did if I hadn't made those comments. I tried to do it privately, and I was, in the nicest way I can describe it, given the runaround for about 5 or 6 hours in the middle of the night and the morning.
I remember you being on this program describing that first day. Are you going back out to the airport? Do you go there every day?
I just came from there. I had a meeting with several officials from the French government who are here and need some help in trying to deal with the 48 French nationals that were killed on that flight. And again, I should tell you that I have only the greatest respect for the employees of TWA, and I've been at 2 funerals in the last day of flight attendants who were TWA employees whose families I got to know during this process.
Are we going to find the answer, do you think, Rudy?
Yeah, who knows, Larry? Yeah, I believe we are, and I think there are the very, very best FBI and NTSB investigators that you could possibly have. Jim Kallstrom is one of the best agents in the FBI. I work with him personally. If the answer can be found, they will find it, but nobody really knows that.
Thanks, as always.
Thank you, Larry.
Mayor Rudy Giuliani of New York. When we come back, Ron Wilson of the San Francisco International Airport and Senator William Cohen, Republican of Maine, member of the Governmental Affairs and Intelligence Committees. That's all next on Larry King Live. Stay right there.
The suspect in this case would have wanted more than just to kill someone. They wanted to mutilate. This was a rage killing.
Only one defined agility like Edwin Moses. Only one embodied control like Evelyn Ashford. Only one personified endurance like Frank Shorter. Only one runs like this. Seville STS with the North Star system. The great performers are always creating a higher standard.
People are much more satisfied than they have been in the past. Now with quality care standards, we have some guidelines to follow. This is what the customers want. They want to have their appointment within a day. They want to have their car fixed right the first time. This is them speaking. Anything we can do to make it better. It's not just meeting the standards that people are setting for us, but exceeding them. Something we're doing is working.
Quality care people, quality care standards at your Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealer.
small businesses are spreading the good news from Sprint Business.
It's Friday. Are you free?
Get a full year of Fridays free for your business. Call 1-800-598-5000 and get long distance on Fridays free, only from Sprint Business.
Now there's a global company that can help you reach overseas markets as if they were right next door. A company that can speed packages across the Atlantic or the Pacific for less than you'd probably pay to send them across town. The U.S. Postal Service introduces Global Priority Mail. Around the country and around the world, no one delivers like the U.S. Postal Service.
What does it take to be current on all the world's news every day? Only 50 cents. USA Today.
We're back on this very eventful continuing days of events with Senator William Cohen, member of the Governmental Affairs and Intelligence Committees, leaving the Congress after 24 years of service. Voluntarily, I might add. And Ron Wilson, Director of Public Affairs, San Francisco International Airport. Does security come under that Public Affairs division there, Ron?
No, Larry, security doesn't. That comes under the airport police.
But when you speak for the airport.
I speak for the airport, that's correct.
All right, your airport, as I understand it, has technology that uses a CAT scan that electronically searches all luggage?
Well, Larry, we have technology at San Francisco. We are one of only 2 airports in the United States that has the Envision technology, which does use CAT scan technology, similar to what they use in the hospital, that actually takes pieces of luggage and slices them into sections, analyzes them, puts them back together, and then views that on a color monitor so that the colors mean something for what is contained within that luggage, and it can be easily identified.
What's the other airport?
It is in Atlanta now, in Hartsfield. It's being performed there because of the Olympics.
Senator, why doesn't every airport have this?
Well, for one thing, there's expense involved. I think Ron would indicate that
these are experimental, then?
These are experimental in nature, and assuming they prove to be successful, which they appear to be quite successful, they can then at least be competed. You have several companies who may be interested in developing other types of technology.
What's the average cost?
About $1 million each for the...
It's not a lot as federal budgets go to save lives.
It's not a lot. The GAO has estimated that it would cost roughly up to $2 billion, anywhere from $400 million to $2.2 billion if you put it at 75 of the business airports. That's just
one of the keys. Ron, has this surveillance picked up things?
Larry, the first week it was in service, it picked up a handgun, and it picked it up because the handgun had bullets in it. This particular device can pick up as little as 2 ounces of explosives. That's very important because these letter bomb situations have as little as 2 ounces.
San Francisco is what, level 3 security now?
We are currently at level 3, that's correct.
And you're going to go to level 4?
I don't know. We are now awaiting word from the responsible federal authorities in New York as to the actual cause of this accident that brought down TWA Flight 800. They will then certainly influence the FAA in Washington, and we get our direction from FAA security locally. So we're awaiting that decision to see if, in fact, security will be raised. However, we did get a memo today from FAA saying that, yes, security will go up, but they did not tell us to what extent.
Senator, your committee investigates stuff like this, does it not? Looks into security, intelligence, and the like?
The Government Oversight Committee does indeed look at
What's your overall read on this?
The overall read is that security is woefully inadequate. We have roughly 1.5 million people passing through metal detectors at airports, which are really designed to detect hijackers who might be carrying a gun or a knife. That's the kind of technology that's out there today. It's totally inadequate for the nature of the threat that we face. We are faced with the threat of domestic and international terrorism for some time to come. And you can have a situation with someone with little as 2 pounds, Ron mentioned 2 ounces, but 2 pounds of explosives which can take a jumbo jet and render it into shards. So we've got a much greater job to do as far as security, greater intelligence, but we have to also understand this is going to involve not only costs, but delay and inconvenience of hours. That means that you will have people who have to arrive at the airports much earlier. For those who are taking shuttles in business, that means you might spend an hour or two earlier at the airport, which means more parking, bigger airports, and less flights, which increase the cost. I think the American people will probably be prepared to pay the additional cost and the delay. But what I would like to make as a point is that as much security as we need and will have, it will be insufficient to deter dedicated terrorists unless we go at the root cause. Because they will, if we get that secure, which we need to be, they will go to bus terminals or rail stations or the airports themselves.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a plane, does it?
It doesn't have to be a plane. It can be a spectacular type of catastrophe, and they will have succeeded in their mission. What we have to do is really go after those who sponsor, state-sponsored terrorism, which means we have to go to those countries who give safe harbor, who give either moral or financial support, and really direct our efforts at either economic sanctions with other countries and possibly military retaliation.
San Francisco, Ron, is a very sophisticated city. Will they handle this patience factor well?
I think so, Larry. It's going to be somewhat of an inconvenience. If we step above the level of security that we have currently, it's going to begin to be an inconvenience for passengers. And the senator is right. We're going to have to ask passengers to get to the airport a lot earlier than they might otherwise do. The president came up with some suggestions today, what he would like to see for increased security. Some of those suggestions mean that passengers may have to get to the airport 2 to 3, maybe even 4 hours prior to their planned departure time on domestic flights.
We'll be right back with Senator William Cohen and Ron Wilson of San Francisco International Airport. We'll include your phone calls. This is Larry King Live. Don't go away.
Every day, millions of customers count on GTE people, GTE quality, GTE reliability. So if you think telecommunications have only complicated your life, there's one company you can count on for help. GTE. Amazing.
Listen, you little wiseacre.
I'm big.
You're little.
I'm right.
You're wrong.
When you're very small, the world is a very big place. But for Matilda, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Matilda. Rated PG. At theaters Wednesday, August 7th.
Load it up and have a ball. Pontiac Transport's got it all.
The roominess and convenience of flexible seating. Count 'em, two built-in child seats. Pontiac's exclusive power sliding door. Touch the button and let it slide. And the safety of standard airbag and anti-lock brakes.
Pontiac Transport, it's got it all.
Friday night on Larry King Live, one of the lead detectives in the Simpson murder case says goodbye to the LAPD. Tom Lang discusses his retirement. Friday night, 9 Eastern on CNN. We're back, the aftermath of TWA 800. We go to phone calls for Senator William Cohen and Ron Wilson, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Hello.
Yes, with the abrupt cutoff of the recorders, it would appear to be a power interruption. And my question is, do these things have a backup power source? And if not, why not?
Senator, do they? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not competent to...
do you know, Ron?
Well, Larry, apparently this was such an enormous disaster explosion that happened all of a sudden. Even if a backup power source was available, it probably would not have been effective in this case.
Yeah.
But aircraft do have several redundant systems in various modes, not only power, but hydraulics and others.
Palm Beach, Florida, hello.
Good evening, Larry.
Hi.
Good evening, Senator Cohen.
Good evening.
Being a flight attendant, my training has taught me one of the things that we have to watch out for, and I don't know if you've considered this possibility or if you are aware of the fact of a thing called a pressure bomb, which is something that could have been put on in Athens underneath a passenger seat. and only goes off after a passenger has sat on it for 10 to 12 hours, which means the passenger could have gone from Athens to California to New York, which would explain the 3-hour delay in New York and why, if it was a bomb, the plane, if somebody was sitting on
Have
the
you heard of
bomb.
that? There are a variety of techniques that can be used. That's just one of them. You can have it depend upon the altitude, for example. At some point, it can be delayed from one departure to the next.
But that would be stopped by the president's suggestion to look at every seat, look at every, again, time-consuming, but...
It's going to be very time-consuming, and ultimately, no system is foolproof.
You're never going to have
going to
foolproof.
get through.
Well, a suicide, you can't prevent a suicide. And as you said, so if the airports become foolproof, they'll try the train station if it's terrorism. Eagle River, Alaska, hello.
Hello. My question is, what kind of security measures are taken for diplomatic packages?
Ron, do you know?
Well, Larry, just in the last few days, small packages that are sent on passenger aircraft are going through some additional security procedures. People that bring small packages in either have to show 2 forms of ID, or those packages have to be physically opened and determined to be safe. Now, United Airlines proposed that in the last couple of days. That is in force now, and other airlines have indicated that they will follow that. So small packages traveling on passenger planes are going through additional scrutiny.
We'll take a break and be back with our remaining moments. By the way, we will, of course, be at both major political conventions, and we're doing programs around the pro-conventions as well. We'll have 2 programs each night at the conventions at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 hours preceding the opening of the convention, and then we'll be on after the convention each night with a late-night wrap-up. All that ahead on CNN, as well as continuous 24-hour coverage of all the news. We'll be right back.
Every day, millions of customers count on GTE people. GTE quality. GTE reliability. So if you think telecommunications have only complicated your life, there's one company you can count on for help. GTE. Amazing.
A world in which all people are closer together. Every 2 years, for a few glorious weeks, it becomes easier to imagine. International Paper is a proud sponsor of the Olympic Summer Games.
You know, I still can't believe we're here so soon after your hip surgery.
Hey, I wouldn't let you down on our anniversary.
Are you overdoing it? How's the pain?
Oh, I feel great. Took some Tylenol. Extra strength.
I'm still surprised the doctor gave you Tylenol after surgery.
For post-surgical pain, Tylenol is recommended the most by doctors.
Oh, where did you learn that?
I think it came with my new hip.
Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
Another phone call or two. Greensboro, Tennessee. Hello.
Hey, Larry. My question is that the airlines put out the bid, the airport security. Why not make it mandatory that the airlines take control of the security checkpoints, which will increase training and give higher pay as a starting job?
Senator?
Well, the airlines do have, in fact, control over this right now. If you look at the airport, you'll find that the security is manned and handled by people who are either very low paid and low education as far as their capability of detecting these types of things. So I think if you want to contract out the security to the private sector, I think you'd have great difficulties with that. I would rather see more federal supervision rather than less.
Ron, what do you think?
Well, right now in San Francisco, Larry, the airlines contract to ITS company at the security checkpoints. And you're right, they are low paid, but they are monitored continuously. We run checks through with mock weapons, mock explosives, so does the FAA, And if these people can't perform, they're let go right away.
But we find that the security is so lax and inadequate that, again, any trained professional terrorist is going to get through very easily. So I think
we're talking terrorists. This could have been a suicide. This could have been, as we said, engine failure. This could have been a family member taking care of a fight. I mean, this could be anything.
The question really for all of us is that as the terrorists succeed in their mission of terrorizing, how much of our freedoms and liberties are we willing to give up? We are a society that believes in law and order. The question is, will we become a society that believes in order and law in the reverse? Because
we will?
I think that people are going to demand more and more security, be willing to give up more of their liberties and individual freedoms.
You think so, Ron?
I think so. I think it's a matter of a way of life these days, Larry. Security is going to become more restrictive. People that come to airports, passengers, friends and relatives, others, are going to be limited in their movements. It's just the sign of the times, and I think we're looking down the road at these things coming more and more in the future.
So you're not optimistic, Senator?
Well, I think, no, I'm not optimistic in terms of the role of terrorism in our lives. We're going to make more compromises. We'll have our freedoms infringed upon. There'll be more intrusive measures taken as the rise in terrorism increases. What we, again, have to do is to go at the source, to get those countries who are given sanctuary, moral or financial support, and bring international condemnation down or military responses to them.
Go that way.
I think that's the only way we can go.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Senator. Thanks very much for joining us tomorrow night. Detective Tom Lang of the LAPD. He was the main investigator in the Simpson case. He's retiring from the LAPD. He's our special guest tomorrow evening. Thanks for joining us on Larry King Live from Washington. Good night.
Hello, I'm Lyndon Souls at CNN Center in Atlanta. The tape from TWA Flight 800's cockpit recorder ends with a mysterious sound. Is it a clue to the cause of the crash? Survivors of a 40-year-old maritime disaster reunite. But amid sad echoes of the past, there is a new unsettling irony. And holidays on Harleys. Why some tourists are coming to America to become angels in a hog heaven. Please join Kathleen Kennedy and me next for that and more on The World Today.
This is the place for in-depth coverage of the world of sports from morning to night. This is CNN.
Okay, Davey, we got it.
When you order a pay-per-view all-day movie ticket, you have a Hollywood hit available all day.
Honey, do you want to see this? I've got an all-day movie ticket.
Sure. It's just the ticket to catch the movie when you want. Everyone can see it for one low price, and even see it again.
Now playing on the all-day movie ticket, The Maddening.
Now, if I can just work the remote.
The pay-per-view all-day movie ticket. One movie, one price, all-day viewing.
Get this 35mm Kodak Funtime camera with flash free. There's absolutely no purchase necessary to get this Kodak camera free from the Craftmatic Adjustable Bed Company. Just preview our beds before you buy any bed.
I hate this bed. You look so miserable in that ordinary flat bed. You need an adjustable bed. Look, Craftmatic's affordable money-saving Model 2 and 3 beds adjust to all these comfortable positions. Offer optional heat and massage, yet cost 50 to 75% less than many quality flat beds. 50 to 75% less. Call to get this free catalog by mail.
Call toll-free and we'll mail you a coupon for your free Kodak camera. Plus information on the adjustable beds that cost 50 to 75% less. To get your free camera coupon, call now.
Call toll-free 1-800-822-9800. That's 1-800-822-9800. Toll-free 1-800-822-9800.
This is CNN.